and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the stipulations of a hypothetical Hollywood overlord, the studio. I am TC Witt, and joining me as always is my co-host, Jim. When did you start going by Jim Bruzelic? Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Hi. We'll get back to it. What are we doing here? We talk movies all the time, and in particular, we complain about the choices made by the blockbusters that are out there. And of course, as good nerds do, we automatically assume that we can do a better job. Right, Jim?
It's true.
That we can do a better job, or that we think we can do a better job?
We can.
Okay.
We could do that.
We're this far into the series.
Yeah.
People are still listening.
Absolutely.
We've proven we can.
Right? What do they say? 3 hours is what you need for expertise, and we got that. We got
somewhere between 3 and 10 hours.
Yeah, and we got that down.
Yeah, we're nice. We've probably done like 10,000
at least.
Yeah. I'm a filmmaker. You're a filmmaker, and so we're not without our experiences. How are you, Jim?
I'm good.
Yeah. Why did they call you Jim?
I've been doing well. It happened.
The viewers want to know.
In the
listeners
7th grade. Mm-hmm. One day, my mom asked me, "Do you want to keep being called Jimmy, or do you want to be Jim?" And I thought about it for a second, and I said, "I'll do Jim."
I'll do Jim. Yeah, no more Jimmy.
Yeah.
All right. Jim.
I said no. I'm just Jim now.
See, I was always TC. I have been Tim to less people than I can count on one hand, which would be 4. TC was the name on my baby basket in the hospital. My grandfather was like, "What does TC mean?" My mom was like, "Well, that's what we're going to call him." "I'm not going to call him that." So he and my grandma called me Tim, and they called me Timmy when I was they just called me Timmy. I don't think they ever called me Tim. No. And a couple of my cousins still to this day call me Tim, but I'm not Tim. Am I a Tim? Do I seem like a Tim to you?
No.
No, I'm a TC.
You're TC.
I think I'm all right. I think I do okay as TC.
I think so.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Of all the TCs I know, you hold it down pretty well.
For a time, I refused to believe that there were any other TCs in the world. I was very stubborn. Like, no, I'm the only one. There isn't any other out there. And then I turned 30 and I had to stop bitching like that.
Oh, yeah. They take away the license
to whine like a child.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, the helicopter pilot from Magnum PI was named TC, and that's what we're doing today. Magnum PI.
Oh.
No. Although add it to the list. There you go, listeners. If you want to hear us do a Magnum PI episode.
Oh gosh. Oh, see now I'm
now
thinking
about
that.
See,
well, because I haven't seen any of the new show.
Right. I forgot there was a new show.
Yeah, there is.
And that's an example of what we do here on the show. In case this is your first episode, go back and check out our previous episodes. But that's what we do. We have a list of properties, movies, franchises, movies that have been made, movies we think should be made, and a studio is going to demand us to conceive and pitch a movie. And that's what we're doing today. So, like, for example, I threw out Magnum PI, and our gears have to start turning.
Yep.
I'm not doing Magnum PI.
Okay.
Are you ready, Jim, to find out what the studio demands today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Sure.
I'm ready.
We've got some M&Ms here.
Tell me.
We got some water.
Tell me.
I will. Jim, it is 2013. It has been 1 year since Marvel pulled off a 5-picture Phase 1. The Avengers has been released. And not just changed cinema, but they have changed the world. Can you agree with that? The world has been forever changed by the existence of...
Nothing will ever be the same.
Because of the Avengers.
Yes.
That is. We've already discussed this because of the Dark Universe.
Yep.
Marvel changed everything. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is a year past that. It's 2013. Okay. We haven't gotten Guardians of the Galaxy or Winter Soldier. We don't know what to look forward to yet. It's also been 1 year since the culmination of Christopher Nolan's Bat trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises. Okay. Warner Brothers is desperate to have a competitive cinematic universe. They've released The Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, produced by Chris Nolan, to varying degrees of criticism and success. It was not successful enough. Okay?
Yep.
We need bigger. We need better. We now have less than 3 years to conceptualize and produce a sequel. Today, the studio demands Batman and Superman.
This is everything I could hope for and dread at once.
I have a list of studio demands in addition to that, but that's our starting point. Okay, so we know what we got. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is more than enough conversations that we've had about what were they thinking. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and you have to say the full title, is a train wreck. It is a checklist of all the mistakes you can make in trying to launch a cinematic universe. We have to. I'm not even erasing Man of Steel. Man of Steel exists. We have to use it. Okay, but beyond that, BVS, DOJ, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and Justice League, Aquaman don't exist.
Okay.
They need a long-term plan here. They need a franchise, and we need to kick it off. We need the fact that Man of Steel did not succeed like they wanted to. We now have. They want Batman in this movie.
Yeah.
Batman and Superman.
Batman has to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Superman has to be in this movie. Any other parameters?
I do have some other parameters here, but I just want to know. Your gears are already turning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a big dumb idea.
You have a big. Let me hear your big dumb idea, and then I'll start throwing more stipulations at you.
So we've talked at length, not necessarily on the show. We've hinted at it as to what we think the formula is, and how DC. What they've been doing is like, they did it wrong. They did it backwards.
The formula for what Marvel did.
Yeah, yes, which is bunches of little ones building up to a big one.
Right. They treated it like a TV series.
Yeah. And DC wanted to get there fast, so they wanted to do the big one right away, and then splinter off.
Right.
And that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So my big dumb idea is to double down.
Double down. What you say? Just jump straight to Justice League? What is your double down here?
Pretty much. So have a movie where, so I'm right off the bat. I'm sort of ignoring the BVS part, the Batman versus Superman part, and going straight to the Dawn of Justice. I don't know what it is that challenges Earth this early, because Apocalypse really seems like it should be a later thing, but maybe it is the thing that shows up now. Maybe I don't know enough about DC villains to really kind of. Put one out there.
I could go all day, but continue.
Something comes and threatens the Earth, and so we actually get glimpses through the first, I'd say first act, probably through the whole movie. Actually, I think you just drop names and not just like literally reference them by someone saying them. You have heroes in the background, foreground, midground, like almost all the time. Like so that way. It's literally an avalanche of Easter eggs.
I mean, that's essentially what George Miller was going to do back in the early 2000s, right before the writer's strike. They were already in production for a Justice League movie of just, you're getting the Justice League, here's everybody.
Nice.
So you're not out of the realm of what a studio would have liked previously, so continue.
So what I think I would do, so some sort of invasion happens, right? Some sort of big army attacks. Could be Apocalypse with his bug monster things, and so we see the world being overrun, and we see heroes successfully fighting small battles but not winning the war. That's when we go to Batman, and Batman is the one who ultimately begins things. He reaches out to 2 or 3 heroes, and he's the one who starts putting together the Justice League, because the heroes need to work together to fight this off.
And that's more or less what happened in the Whedon-Snyder Justice League. Batman was technically recruiting everyone. Okay, yeah.
Except it was 5 people, and I'm thinking we focus on 5, and so those are the ones that come together and really sort of galvanize all of the heroes. But literally, it's through the personification of these 5, we see an army of heroes come together to defend the Earth in this first movie. And ideally, I realize I'm painting with really broad strokes here. Ideally, then that gives you sort of your main 5 that you can do splinter movies for. It gives you an immense cast to make other minor movies that could possibly move up into larger positions, things, and it gives you supporting cast for those splinter movies as you go. Like you could have now I'm blanking. You could have So I'm thinking of the big five. Oh, you could have a Flash movie.
Yeah.
Where Oliver Queen, Green Arrow,
yeah.
shows up. Essentially, functionally sidekicks for Flash in Flash's Splinter movie.
I see.
And you could do that with other
Okay.
ones as well.
Well, I could give you a villain type people that could attack the Earth in this fashion. So there's the Thanagarians, the Hawk people. They have the Nth metal. They have an army. There's an intergalactic battle happening between.
That's how much do you know about Robotech and Macross?
None.
Okay, so in that the Zentradi attack Earth, and Earth has this big ship called the Macross, and they get all sorts of Robotech robot things, and I'm butchering it. Either way, the whole first war is the Zentradi versus the humans, and then they overcome them with music, and then years go by, and a peace is made, and then the Invid invade.
Yeah.
And I might even be getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure that happens. So at that point, the Zentradi and humans have made peace, and a bigger, badder thing comes along, and that model sort of works, jamming the peg into the hole in this regard. I actually really like that idea of the Hawk people attacking.
You got people flying, you got people on the ground, hand-to-hand combat, lasers. Like the Thanagarians would give you everything.
And then we can turn that around, so then into our phase 2 of DC, then we can introduce Apocalypse, and it's a bigger, badder threat.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Hawk people have become allies of sorts, and
So
they can team up.
that could be a way to go. And now, have you scraped the surface of your idea? Do you want to delve further in this? Because the studio is interested at this point. But
Okay.
I'm going to have some new stipulations about to pick apart your idea here.
I don't have any other further. I don't have further details now. So
All
if you want to,
Let's. I want to piggyback
ruin my
off
parade,
your-
you can.
I will. I'm going to rain on it and tell you, like, you know what, Jim? I got to tell you, we had some other ideas here. Okay, I have a solution to bypass the fact that they wanted to jump right ahead to the team, like the big team up movie. Okay. And this comes actually out of a fan theory that was a really stupid fan theory based on the title of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And I do think that they missed an opportunity here that would have saved them a hell of a lot of trouble, that would have gave them a ton of good credit and good faith. Okay. I don't care how much money it would take. I don't care how many boats you had to drive into his front yard. You get Christian Bale back. And this isn't the sequel to Man of Steel. This is the 5th movie in the franchise. Man of Steel was 4.
oh, you ghost Nolan's. That's why you brought it up. You ghost Nolan's trilogy as the intro to.
You take
to this.
all the good faith of the Dark Knight trilogy,
Sure.
particularly the Dark Knight, but because I know Dark Knight Rises is a whole different can of worms.
Sure.
But you give Christian Bale anything and everything he wants to come back and play Batman. Because here's the thing. They knew, Warner Brothers knew, you don't sell a movie with Superman, you sell the movie with Batman. He's the first name in the title.
Yeah.
It's not Superman 2. It's not Superman versus Batman. It's Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. They know who their bread and butter is. Their bread and butter is Batman. And if you watch BVS, they did a lot of shorthand to try to capitalize on Nolan's movies.
Oh yeah.
Like they scavenged some imagery. They retreaded some ground because they knew people would, it's shorthand. People already know the Nolan stuff. So just get Christian Bale back. Okay?
Sure.
And you said to get the heroes together to stop an invasion on Earth. An invasion already happened. It happened in Man of Steel.
The Kryptonians.
The Kryptonians and Superman himself has already attacked this planet. Right? The attack of the Kryptonians, the whole notion of what happens in BVS can work. Batman sees a universal threat that's bigger than anything that's ever been faced. How do you stop this threat? Okay. So here's some stipulations I want to throw at you that the studio is demanding. We get Christian Bale back, which means now the Nolan trilogy is canon. Okay. Which also gives you you're gonna have to, I know how I would solve it, but you're gonna have to deal with the fact that Nightwing is out there. That Batman is currently held by Robin. That Blake is currently wearing the bat.
Okay,
costume.
so we take the end of that trilogy and extrapolate.
Yes. We have to have Lois. We have to have Martha. We have to have Luthor. Wonder Woman has to be in here. You have Alfred. Go ahead. Perry White can be in here. KG Beast and Mercy can still be part of Lex's group of people, but the studio wants Christian Bale. The studio wants Batman and Superman to fight. We have to introduce a broader cinematic universe, which means Wonder Woman's got to be in here. Mm-hmm. And maybe we could figure out something better than a QuickTime event that shows all the other clips of heroes, which I do have a suggestion for that. So here's my pitch for how you open this movie up, and then let's see if you'll go with me on this.
Okay.
Open up with the Battle of Metropolis once again through Bruce's perspective.
Sure.
That's how BVS starts.
Yep.
But you don't do it with him there on the ground. You have him watching it on TV in Paris. Mm-hmm. He's sitting there watching live on television. Aliens exist, and they are destroying one of the major American cities.
And that's what brings Batman
and
back.
That is what. So have him witness it, seeing it all happening, standing next to Anne Hathaway as Selena.
Yep.
This is incredible. And then title card, and jump forward, I don't know, a year later.
Okay.
And we'll follow what Clark is doing and whatnot, but I think Batman is your protagonist through this. And in his eyes, Superman's the villain that he needs to figure out and stop. Bruce Wayne is the greatest detective. He would have figured out who Clark Kent is. He's not. That's so stupid. I hate how they fight in BVS because it's like all Bruce has to say is like, Clark, Lex is tricking us. Like, just take a sec. Or I'm sorry, all Superman had to say was, hey, I don't want to fight you. Lex Luthor's kidnapped my mom. But instead they just fight like a bunch of frat boys and stupid. We can still have...
Because it's pride. How dare you hit me with the thing that doesn't hurt me? I need to punch you before I say the thing I wanted to say.
And we can still get there. We can still get the fight to the fight. But anyway, we've seen Bruce witness the attack on Metropolis. We flash forward a little bit, and it's a year later, or 6 months later, or what have you. Bruce is still in Paris, and he is obsessed with news clippings, and he's secretly doing detective work. And Selena finally just says to him, leave. You don't want to be here. You want to be doing something. You can't just sit in this room and invest. I know you're investigating. Look at this wall of shit you have. This water guy that you found evidence of. This fast dude you got running around Keystone City. I know you've been investigating all these weird events around the world. You don't want to be here anymore. Leave. And so he goes back to Gotham.
Okay.
So now you have little Easter eggs to introduce the other things that Batman has been investigating.
Okay.
So Lex doesn't have some computer file with all these metas in it, and maybe he does, but it's Bruce and his investigation of the bigger DC universe that has been unlocked by an alien attack that has gotten him his bat sense tingling.
Sure. He
goes back to Gotham and says that Batman needs to take a bigger role. I'm here to be Batman again, and he has to take that mantle away from the person he bestowed it upon. So you got conflict between those two.
And it's what happens in the comics all the time.
Yeah. Dick finally gets to be Batman. Bruce is like, all right, I'm retired back. Give me it back. Yeah. And that can embitter. And what I would do with Nightwing is send him on a side quest that we don't even get to see. Essentially, let them have conflict, create that tension between them, and Bruce all but saying, and even Alfred could be on Bruce's side, you're not equipped to handle this, Blake. Sorry. You can stay. I'm not kicking you out of the Batcave, but I need Batman. I need all this equipment. I'm back. I'm sorry. Like, just Bruce is a dick.
Yeah.
A dick to dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let him come back in, and his whole methodology is to try to solve the mystery of Superman, and let him investigate Superman. When it figure out that his mom's name is Martha. Like, don't give this contrived conflict that Lex is pitting them against each other.
But then how will we have the Frank Miller scene?
Well, here's the thing. Flip it. Because in BVS, Lex has antagonized Batman to kill Superman. Yeah. Batman's too freaking smart to fall for that.
Sure.
Because Lex is your big villain in here, Lex is actually manipulating Superman by constantly putting him in a position to harbor the fear of the alien. Lex is running for political office. Fear the alien. How timely is this? That we have a political figure, a rich political figure, who's using the fear of aliens.
That's not 2013.
Fine. It's a post 9/11 fear. Because that's what Snyder was playing with anyway.
Yeah.
And I know I'm thinking I'm not thinking. What are you telling me? It's 2013. In a few years, Donald Trump's going to be president? Nah. But
that's just a dumb Simpsons
that
joke.
Would never happen. So instead, harboring, like fanning the flames of the fear of an alien in Superman and putting in positions of trying to constantly do the right thing, but then putting it out there like, that train never would have crashed if Superman wasn't even around. Little things like that to constantly make the public question Superman. Not outright hate him like they do in BVS, but create that tension of I think Superman's good, I think Superman's bad. Well, look at all this bad stuff that didn't happen until Superman showed up. Mm-hmm. And so Superman is constantly on edge. He's trying to do the right thing. There's some mysterious force that he starts using his reporter mind to go, someone's setting these things up. Someone is like out to get me. Like, let his paranoia come out, because then when Batman finally reveals himself, Superman will be the reactionary one. It's you! And especially if Bruce shows up and says, Superman, I know you're Clark Kent. Go after him. Like, Superman will react to that. So now Batman's like, stop! And imagine the Christian Bale Batman trying to stop the Henry Cavill Superman, who is so paranoid and freaked out at this point that the fight is now not Batman trying to kill Superman. It's Superman pissed off at this supposed enemy who's been stalking him through the course of the movie. Lex has manipulated Superman into trying to attack Batman.
Okay.
Huh?
All right, these are good parameters. So
these are less parameters and more I'm just pitching my movie to you. But they have to fight. They have to fight, and then they have to become friends.
Because it has to be Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
That's what people want. I want to see Batman and Superman fight.
They think they want that.
I'm the dumb studio that
you
thinks.
You are correct. You are.
Any true blue comic book superhero, any right-minded comic book superhero, superhero fan knows that Batman and Superman have fought, but that's not the point. But any 14-year-old sitting in the lunchroom with his friends, like, who's in a fight? Yeah. That's what the studio's hearing. That's what the studio wants to see. So,
and there's a part of me that also still engages in those debates. That's essentially what this is.
Right. This is exactly what this is. Who'd win in a fight? Iron Man versus Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Magic versus technology.
Doctor Strange would win. Okay. I'm buying the outline that you're selling to me. Mm-hmm. Right now, though, you explained it with a whole lot of energy, which made me think that the movie will feel quite kinetic like that. Mm-hmm. But I think really with what you said, though, it's going to be a pretty investigative movie, right? Like, it doesn't feel very superhero action packed.
Well, it's Batman's the one on the boots on the ground investigating. Superman's the one who is going to be doing the early action set pieces. Like, Batman can get out there and mix it up, and let's see the Arkham Asylum fight without murdering anyone. And you know what? I don't know if you saw Zack Snyder recently. Was that a thing?
I did hear it.
I know I'm dating it, but screw him to this day. That
There's
he's
a whole bunch of reactions.
Effing get over it, Batman kills. No, you...
Yeah.
And fine, there's probably listeners right now who think Batman should kill. The core of that character, he's got one rule, and that's the point of him. But you're right.
Because our heroes are not supposed to kill. Our heroes are supposed to save people. Mm-hmm. That is what firemen save people.
They should murder
Police
the fire.
Are supposed to protect people,
but they should,
and not by killing them.
That's a different political debate. So yeah, you're right. It could be a little investigative if you're following the Batman thread. And I think Zack Snyder is not the director for this. You pay Nolan everything you possibly can to get him
to do it, not just consult.
I think even having Jonathan Nolan write the script would be the right way to go here.
Sure,
Goyer can be involved like he was through the Dark Knight trilogy, but having a more competent writer, having a more competent director who understands story structure and character arcs and character development. This isn't a movie that needs nuanced acting, but it needs a plot that means something and that is coherent. Whereas like BVS Dawn of Justice is a mess. Where's the act structure? What are the wants of the characters? What are we know it's a mess.
I'm having an idea.
Oh, what's your idea? The studio is interested.
Everything you said, right? One of the I don't know if it'd be a B plot or one of the things that's happening. So the world is becoming more and more paranoid through being coaxed into it of Superman, and these strange alien invaders, we start getting hints or even like full on scenes of our other four. Is it are the other four heroes that will eventually show up?
The studio is
through things like the media. Lex is finding these things. The media is saying, "Oh, there's these strange there's islands. We're finding out about islands in the ocean, middle of the ocean that we can't. We're finding islands we can't find. I need to fix that."
You could have some sort of like Alex Jones freaking out, like, "I'm telling you, there's islands out there that we can't get to." Like,
have people talking about people living in underwater bases, and but in BVS DOJ, they're being pointed at as other Kryptonian strongholds.
Right. The misconception because
because we need to blame it on this guy.
Yeah. And Lex is harboring is fanning that flame.
Yeah, and it's not right. It's
there's Atlanteans.
Atlanteans and can't remember the name of the. Yes, thank you. I'm doing a terrible job.
That's right. But then you could have more like urban myth characters like the Flash and like Green Arrow and the hints of a bigger DC universe as asides on TVs. I don't need full on interviews being shown like they showed in BVS, but we have a setting of a newspaper. Why not have Perry White constantly being like, "All right, what's this? We got some rumor mill about a man with a green ring. We need who can we get on that? Hey, this kid that's over at Met U, Victor Stone. He's an amazing football player. I want him. What's his deal? Is there something? Maybe he's too good. So I think you're right. You get to sprinkle in that broader thing. Here's something the studio needs though. We need Wonder Woman legitimately in this movie, not hinted at, based on this sort of construct of a film I have right now where you have Batman trying to figure out Superman and Superman afraid of some mysterious force that they're on a path to collide. How do you get Wonder Woman in here?
I think one of the things taking a note from my initial pitch that I think would need to be established pretty early on with just a couple establishing things. And I realize we're trying to build a normal world being invaded by strangeness with aliens and stuff. But I think it would really serve our purposes for this movie and beyond if superheroes are established as a part of this world.
So people know about the Flash and they're fine with him.
Maybe.
Okay.
There are vigilantes, right? There are masked vigilantes. Maybe some of them have powers. Maybe things like that.
The Arrow in Star City, and
not necessarily to the near godlike level that some of the heroes become.
Right, and maybe that's what the catalyst for all this is. That we've had vigilantes for years. You got that guy in Keystone, and you got the Arrow in Star City. But those guys are shooting arrows and running fast. This guy can tear a city apart. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I like that. Because your original pitch of multiple... I didn't squash that idea.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to... I think we can get to that.
Well, because I essentially cut out the Batman versus Superman portion.
You went straight to Justice League, yeah. But we need Batman and Superman. But anyway, continue. Yeah. So I like where you're going with this.
So the reason I say that is because that way, when we introduce Wonder Woman... I don't think it's as strange of a is it that big of a shit? I don't know where I'm. I was building towards something, and
if you're saying that superheroes are a gimme in this world, but vigilantes, the street level hero, are something that people know about. Maybe they believe in them, maybe they don't. I mean, the Batman in Gotham is a real thing. You have to remember in Nolan's universe,
a thing.
Yeah, if you remember Nolan's universe, Batman exists. By the end of that one, he's fighting in broad daylight. People understand that vigilantes are a real thing. So
and thus going along with that, it's not just vigilantes beating up random crooks. It is that, but it's also there's villains,
super villains.
Yeah,
Bane.
So these guys exist as well.
Yeah.
And I suppose the way the sensationalist news would portray them is more bad than good. Like a lot of the vigilantes would get caught up in that as well.
Yeah. So inserting Wonder Woman, it's not it's not out of the blue that suddenly Wonder Woman exists, but maybe she's been staying undercover. Like she doesn't go out and lift cars over her head because that's too in your face. But now that Superman exists,
well, if we depending on how many of the parameters need to preserve the Wonder Woman that we did get.
I do really love the Wonder Woman we got.
Yeah.
So maybe thinking, in this scenario that Wonder Woman still has to exist.
That means she's been a part of the world of man now for 100 years, about 100 years.
Yeah.
So she's going to know her way around things.
But she did give up on mankind. That's why she's not out there in the public. In the BVS that we got, she's been like, I gave up. I just want my sword back because someone sent a photo that I need. Like, what happened? Like, because that's what she was trying to get from Lex. Because Lex, screw that. That doesn't exist anymore. Find a different way to insert her into this.
And what I'm thinking is she's investigating just like Batman is.
Okay. So actually, what about this? Okay, kind of going off your idea that superheroes exist. Mm-hmm. They're out there. Superman changed the game by being a god among men. Mm-hmm. Batman, his sole purpose out here is he's investigating the threat of Superman and trying to figure out who he is so that he can just talk to him, right? And even going so far as Bruce figures out Lex is manipulating him, and that's why he wants to talk to Superman.
Sure.
In the midst of that, Wonder Woman is the one trying to build the team. She's the one that's like, hey, now that a god exists, I need to round up these superheroes. So she could be the one who...
She's known gods have existed.
I mean, but now that the public knows.
That's actually a really good catalyst for her to want to do that. Like, if this level of power is back in the world, it needs to be organized.
So she can be the one who sneaks up on Batman at a dinner party and says, I know who you are.
No, people would hate that.
What? Say it.
What if she's the one who stops Superman from killing Batman?
Oh, instead of Lois.
I like that. I like that idea, but people. Well, no. I think in our fight somehow Batman needs to think his way. He needs to clever his way into not dying. Into not being eye blasted or pounded or chill breathed or.
So. If Wonder Woman's presence is that she's trying to okay, here we go. She goes to Bruce first and is like, I know your deal. I know you're a hero. I'm trying to recruit heroes. And Batman's like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not part of the team. Get out of here. Maybe she could even go to Superman at one point and be like, if Superman's saving the day and she shows up and he's like, how did you? She's like, hey, like Coulson. Think Coulson in the original Iron Man.
Okay.
All right. But it's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So she fails at recruiting Batman. She fails at recruiting Superman. She could give the ominous, if this is going to come to a head and it's going to end badly, we need to work together to stop the real threats out there. So when the big final battle, not the final battle, but the Batman versus Superman fight finally happens, you are right. It wouldn't be fair to Batman if Wonder Woman saves his ass. Mm-hmm. Quick from the peanut gallery. Would you want that? Would you want Wonder Woman to save Batman from Superman?
Do I want a woman to break up a fight between two men?
Yes.
Already.
I'm curious what the listeners are thinking right now, because I do like the idea of Batman staying just one step away from death against Superman constantly, and then finally they're like, oh man, Superman's gonna blast, and then one of them swoops in and is like, all right boys, cut it out. There is something fun about that.
Yeah, and right, that would happen in an episode of Justice League.
Yeah. But
not in a movie.
Okay, how about this? Because Lex...
Okay, I got one, but you go first.
Lex has set up the plan to manipulate Superman. He's trying to use the fear of Superman to get to his position. Mm-hmm. He's not aware that Batman... He's not threatened by Batman because he's smarter than Bruce Wayne. He's Lex Luthor the genius, not the Jesse Eisenberg Lex. I want the animated Superman Lex Luthor. I want the badass smart guy.
I think Jesse Eisenberg could have been a good one if not for the affectation he chose.
I agree. I think the one we got at the Justice League Stinger, the one we'll never see again, that Lex. I'm fine with Jesse Eisenberg doing a different Lex, but it's the smart one.
Yeah.
Shoot, I lost my train of thought because I derailed twice in that.
Sorry.
If what's your idea?
So my idea is because Bruce is clever enough to have contingencies upon contingencies, and it harkens back to what Zack Snyder did, but reversed. We bring in Clark's mom.
Oh, yes, there we go. That's it. Okay, I got it. That's where I was going to go. I was exactly on the same page here. When Bruce has figured out Lex is doing all this to Superman to drive him crazy and tries to confront him, and the fight is taking place, what Bruce is trying to get to, it's not just, I'm trying to, Lex Luthor, like, would you please give me, because Superman's fast, he's going to just, he's so paranoid and upset at this point, he's not paying attention. It's Bruce that is trying to say, not only has Lex manipulated you, he's got his contingency of us fighting and not, he's got your mom. He's got your mom.
Oh, I was actually just going to have something cooler than it, but essentially just have Batman was going to have Martha like on a smartphone, like
Clark, say, stop fighting him. He's nice.
Yeah,
I'm giving you an action set piece.
Yeah,
because Bruce saving Martha in Batman vs Superman is one of the best scenes in that shitty movie.
Yeah.
So that's what Bruce is trying to explain everything to Superman, but Superman's just reacting. We can get the hothead young Superman that Snyder stupidly created. Let's just give him some more agency and purpose behind why he's fighting Bruce. And the final thing would be, Lex has your mom and Lois. I'm trying to tell you this. Let me go save. Which one do you want me to save? I will save what you tell me which one you want me to save, and you save the other one. So then Clark has to choose between saving Lois and saving his mom. So Bruce goes and saves Martha. Superman goes to save Lois, and then he goes to confront Lex, and Lex says, you know what? I thought this might happen. I'm glad that I was prepared for this as well. And then you get the suit.
That terrible suit, but I love it anyway.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back.
Hi there, I'm David.
And I'm Kate.
And we're the hosts of Another Zelda podcast.
There are so many good podcasts out there, and some of them in particular concern the Legend of Zelda.
That's right, Kate. And we are another one of them. That is actually the name of our show, Another Zelda podcast.
And in our show in particular, we talk about some of our favorite dungeons, characters, boss battles. We have top 10 lists.
Yeah, we do deep dives on game design and production aspects of the different Zelda games.
And we talk about our own experiences. We do some review episodes, talk about our challenges, our struggles, and our victories.
That's right. You know, really just almost anything that has to do with Zelda, we like to talk about it. A new episode comes out every other Friday, and you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and YouTube.
And you can also check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
That's right. All right, we will see you there.
Okay, bye.
And Lex throws on the Kryptonian battlesuit, and now you can have the final act, Superman versus a Kryptonian-powered Lex Luthor suit with Batman trying to frickin' help him, and Wonder Woman can come in, and the three of them can fight Lex and whatever else you want to add into this. Because we do have KG Beast as a subplot, like a muscle.
Sure.
For, well, actually, Bruce would have faced him against Martha.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Lex suit versus...
Hang on.
Okay. I'm too excited about this. I can't hang on.
That was the KG Beast?
Yes, that was KG Beast.
I did not know that.
I don't think anyone did. Did you know Jimmy Olsen was in the movie till the credits rolled?
No. I mean, I knew once that happened, but until today, I did not know that was KG Beast. What a waste! What a awful waste!
Blew up his fiery jetpack, or his flamethrower.
Ugh.
So you have your big final blowout action sequence: Lex Luthor in the battlesuit versus Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Because now Wonder Woman can show up and like she can come in, right? Like if Clark is getting his ass kicked by a Kryptonian-powered suit where he's just getting beat down, and Lex is going to do an Iron Man chest blast, and Wonder Woman just jumps in with her shield, and it's like, I've decided to help fight. And now you got her in the mix. People are like, yeah! And now Batman isn't fighting the goddamn suit. He is saving civilians.
Sure.
And guess who comes back to help him save civilians? Nightwing.
Okay.
So now Blake has come back. He's there to help. He's not wearing the bat suit. He's got some variation on it. So now Bruce and Blake are saving civilians while Superman and Wonder Woman are fighting a Kryptonian-suited Lex Luthor. And now one might think this sounds expensive. They made a big giant CG blob of Doomsday. This budget is as bloated as it needs to be. They can do all of this.
Why did they make him look like that? They could have at least made him look like the Doomsday from the comics.
No,
that
Cave
guy...
Troll. We had the Cave Troll. We're Warner Brothers. We had the Cave Troll template from Lord of the Rings. Just alter it.
Yeah, okay. I like most of that. I think we need to see Batman do more than save people. I think he does need to be in the mix, but he's not throwing punches against a robot.
Right.
He's doing way more clever stuff.
So like
He's
bombs in the eyes,
sabotaging exhaust ports, and disabling cameras. And
okay, so yeah, maybe at first he could be like, all right, fine, I'll take care of the civilians. That's I will save people. And if Blake shows up, it's like, I got it. Go help those two. Then Bruce is like, cool, I'm in the fight. And I understand, like, people at this point, even throughout the course of this, might be thinking there's no way Christian Bale's Batman could stand next to Henry Cavill's Superman. And I think the Man of Steel we got, that first one, yeah, that's the power level of Superman. We can deal with that. I think the gadgetry and the cartoonishness of Nolan's Batman would need to be escalated. We would need to get a little more gimmicky in the toys. But I don't think it would be as giant of a leap as people might think it would need to be.
Yeah, I don't really know how many more toys you would need.
Like the grappling gun. Nolan was against the grappling gun because he's like he wanted to find...
Well, Snyder put that in.
Yeah.
BVS DOJ.
And I'm saying let Christian Bale have the grappling gun.
Yeah. For this fight, I think that would be necessary.
I think Lois can still be involved in this in terms of reporting on it. She doesn't need to be on the battlefield.
No. An extra detail I would like in there is since this is a world of heroes, and since Wonder Woman has been trying to recruit Batman and Superman, she's also been recruiting others who aren't as stubborn. So in this final scene, she shows up to help fight Lex. Meanwhile, Nightwing's not the only other hero saving people.
Maybe
we don't even need to see those named people. We can see
Blue Beetle.
Yep, there's one.
Yeah. But I think for the sake of foreshadowing, having references to the Keystone and the Keystone City, and the Star, like to reference those offhandedly throughout, and then having them. You're saying actually have Flash and Aquaman and the gang?
No, it doesn't have to be the big ones, right? If we're wanting to save that for later, just have a number of smaller people who Wonder Woman has approached and like, yeah, I want to be on a team. Then
Flash and one other, Blue Beetle, if you will.
Sure.
But having the football player from Met You show up and save the day in a brief moment. The hint of Cyborg to come.
Oh, sure.
If he's not Cyborg, just some kid on the street who saves the day and is like, thanks, man. And if you're paying attention, like, oh, that's the football player guy. And a true fan would go, that's gonna be Cyborg. How exciting is that? That's way better than a QuickTime video. I'm glad they didn't do that. Can you imagine if they had done that?
It would have been like putting a commercial in the middle of the movie.
I mean, I would. Okay, just for the fun of it, would you have Selena show up in the final battle? I don't think she's as capable as anybody else. She's a thief. So maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, we paid to have her show up in the beginning. We might as well have her helping rescue people.
Okay, then there you go.
But that's kind of what I mean. It's sort of rescuing people in this final scene it's happening, but it's happening in the background, and that's where we can drop a bunch of Easter eggs.
Yeah. So essentially, the Battle of New York from the Avengers with what Warner Brothers wanted, what the studio wanted, with like hinting at this bigger world.
I feel terrible that I've been struggling to think of other heroes. Like Red Tornado, right? He hasn't been mentioned in the movies at all. Just put him in the background.
Yeah.
Moving someone out of the way.
Vixen. Right?
Yeah.
Like some of the lower tier characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want all of that. I see where you're going with it.
I do.
I know you do. I think hinting at a couple isn't a bad idea.
So, okay, here's my problem with only a couple. It is going to tell your audience these 1 or 2 Easter eggs are something to look forward. These specific ones are things you should look forward to seeing again, that you're going to clamor for. If you hit them with 10 recognizable background people, they don't necessarily say anything. They don't even necessarily mug for the camera.
Yeah.
It's enough to make to make people say, "Oh, that's the world we live in." It's enough to make people who are familiar with the source material go, "Oh, those are these people." And it builds that world. It creates the potential without promising anything.
Then I'm gonna give you half this. I think throughout the course of the movie, using the Daily Planet as a focal point, using those throwaway background moments, which kind of draws from The Dark Knight Returns, where you get a lot of those TV interview moments and whatnot. I'm going to let you put in 12 to 15 of those throughout the course of the movie. Little background hints here and there, billboard here, newspaper here, little things throughout, kids on their cell phone. None of those characters get to be in the final fight. That would be so bloated. That would be such a mess of characters.
I think you are really imagining focus on them way more than I am.
No, I don't even want to see them swing through the background. I don't want some glimpse of them. This movie needs to be more focused, because a problem with all these franchise expanders is they do try to cram too much in that aren't Easter eggs. And I think in the final battle, if it's Lex suit versus Superman and Wonder Woman, with Batman running the perimeter and having Nightwing on the ground saving people, Victor showing up as just a kid doing the right thing, and maybe one little other character. It's too many characters to play with. I'm letting you have the Easter eggs, but they don't get to be in the final battle. I'm sorry.
I don't think that's how you build a backwards cinematic universe.
Well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree that I'm right. I can see it, right? And I think tossing in all those characters into the fight and having them swing through the background.
They're not. See, I think that they're not in the fight.
Well, how is this fight threatening enough with just one battle-suited Kryptonian Lex that would require 10 characters to show up?
Well, it would have so in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, they mitigated the damage by putting it on a deserted island.
Fine, you guys don't like us beating up Metropolis? We'll put it on an abandoned island.
And I think that you wouldn't do that. You would put it in a city
Put it
again.
right in the city, yeah. Put it back in Metropolis again.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why... So there's your threat. There's your imminent threat to people. And the thing is, Lex Luthor's suit, it's not just two or three or four big guys fighting each other. They're knocking down buildings. It's a disaster.
I got it.
Not necessarily as bad as in Man of Steel, but it's still a huge disaster.
I got it. The whole movie is building off of Lex's ideas. Yes, it is a huge disaster. The movie is Lex trying to harbor this fear against the alien, right?
Sure.
When Wonder Woman shows up to recruiting, she's saying, hey, if this threat exists, we have bigger threats coming, we need to have this. And Batman's like too focused on Superman. Superman's too focused on his paranoia. In the battle, Lex versus these two gods, Metropolis is getting it again. It could lampshade it. Like, we just rebuilt this city, and now this is happening again. You can have all these Easter egg characters, because remember I had said, like, oh, Victor, who we referenced earlier, shows up and saves some kid.
Sure.
So the whole idea that Superman's existence is creating fear in people, in this moment now, with Batman there, with Wonder Woman there, it's actually inspiring people and doing the exact opposite of what Lex thought was happening with Superman. And this goes as a throwback to what Joker tried to do to prove the kind of people Gotham is.
Yeah.
Now we're proving what the bigger, like what Metropolis is. So you can't have Victor come in and save the day and people go, oh my God, that's going to be Cyborg. You can have a construction worker, John Henry Irons, pick up a sledgehammer and start saving the day. And maybe Lex needs some minions. Maybe we need some Shatari level of goons.
Okay. You're on board with my idea. I won't argue.
So instead of having having characters come in to save the day, maybe we could have one or two, like a gangbuster. That's a Superman superhero that was inspired. Bibbo Babowski is another like a character inspired by Superman to do the right thing. Guardian is another character who is he's the Captain America of the DC universe who operates in the shadows of Metropolis.
I can't remember any of their names. The big yellow demon.
Mongol is from Etrigan.
Yeah.
So in the second battle of Metropolis, where it's getting torn up again, and Lex is, I don't know, maybe he's so mad he's like, if I can't have this city, no one can. You can have all these characters showing up to save the day in cameo moments and not be clad in their superhero costumes.
All right.
I'm trying to find a happy medium here because my worry is that it becomes too bloated. If it's too much of an Easter egg hunt, it alienates the layman. A normal person coming in is going to be alienated by too many Easter eggs. They need to know who these characters are. That's why it needs to be Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and then you sprinkle in little things that don't feel like, get it? I don't get it. The guy next to me will explain it. Like, you have to think like that. You're thinking. You're scratching your
So, I think, so the reason, what I'm thinking, the reason why I think that it wouldn't be confusing, and I could be wrong, maybe it's a different mentality for a sci-fi movie, but you don't need to explain every alien in Star Wars.
That's a different world, though. People come in expecting exactly that. But in something,
well, that's a part of why I was saying you establish it early on that they're a known element.
Well, I suppose if you look at what the Avengers did, they were able to introduce a new Bruce Banner and Hawkeye but no, that's it. It was just those two were introduced because Black Widow was introduced in Iron Man 2. So it's really hard to reverse engineer what Avengers did. So I don't think
those are people that get actual screen time.
So, maybe this is an element we can't elaborate on because it feels like we just can't agree specifically on this point. So let's just jump to the end here.
Okay.
I think Lex is defeated. I think he is unmasked to prove, like, this is who your villain is. This is who is tearing up Metropolis. Lex Luthor, ladies and gentlemen, so that he can be sent off to prison for his crimes. And the final moment of the movie before we start closing up with a tag of sorts is Superman needs to stand before the American people live on television with Lois Lane pointing the microphone at him, more or less saying, I'm here to help. I will never make a vow to you as a human race. I will never let a threat like this happen again. The Kryptonians, people like Lex, I will never, and he can say, I won't let this happen. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to fight for you. I'm going to do this. And Wonder Woman and Batman stepping up next to him and saying, no, we promise that. So that's it. Superman will more or less not apologize, but say, like, this is what I'm here for. Give me that Christopher Reeve moment of I'm here to fight for truth and justice.
Yeah. None of this wavering, none of this saving mankind is a burden.
Yeah, I will prove to you, for those of you who doubt me that I'm here for good, I will prove to you, I will spend every day of my life proving to you that I am worthy of being your hero. I am Superman. Like, I want that moment. And he has his other heroes around him, whether it's just Wonder Woman and Batman bleeding and limping, or if you do manage to convince me to get other heroes in it, that final tableau is Superman standing center with the world watching him, surrounded by these other heroes, saying, we're here to help, and we'll stop whatever threat is coming.
That feels more like a Dawn of Justice to me.
The Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice moment? What do you mean?
I feel like you described a Batman versus Superman movie without all of the other heroes. It's just a Batman versus Superman movie. It's not the Dawn of Justice.
Well, if they just tore up Metropolis a second time, Superman's going to have to say, I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying I like your scene. I think you need the backdrop of many heroes.
Okay, and I'm saying that's okay, right? I think that even if it's him standing there saying it with just Wonder Woman and Batman behind him, if that's being broadcast around the world, then you have your moment of, like, Green Arrow pulling his gloves on, or Huntress pulling her mask on her face and being inspired in the moment to rise up.
Okay,
and then you have maybe the Green Ring going on to, like, what were all those characters watching that broadcast across the internet? Like, hint at it that way instead of having them literally standing right there. because we need a hint of greater things to come, and we can't. I don't want to specifically say you're getting an Aquaman movie, a Cyborg movie, and a Flash movie. Like, just I agree with you. Hint at so many that people don't know what's coming.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I think we're not agreeing on how to do that.
Okay.
I think you do it all. You put them all in the same frame.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you do your montage, that instead says, these are the individuals that will happen.
My fear is too many characters, and that we as nerds will get excited to see the whole Justice League standing there. My fear is, and my studio fear, is that people don't care about Aquaman. People want to see Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
And they do. Those are the three right up front.
I don't
framed.
need that blonde, orange-shirted fish talker. So maybe we can't exactly agree how that moment, but I think the sentiment should stay. I think that the movie needs to end with Superman saying to the world, "I'm here to help, and I'm going to prove it to you, whatever it takes."
Mm-hmm.
So
Batman, Superman doesn't need to sacrifice himself defeating the villain.
Don't kill Superman. Don't kill Superman, period. We don't need that. You know, if they want to kill Superman, if the studio's like, we want to kill Superman, I'm like, cool, that's your Infinity War. You wait until you've done 10 movies. You wait until you've done 15 movies. People need to freaking care about this character before you kill him.
They need to have seen him be invincible.
Yeah, they need to see him be Superman. Like, it's so, when that moment happened in BVS, I just was like, really? You guys are you kidding me? Who cares? It was like killing Kirk in the second Star Trek movie. He's had all of 2 hours of screen time. Mm-hmm. Dude, who cares?
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
Spock cares.
He really did, because they shared... I'm so mad. So don't kill Superman. You have him be the hero, be the light to guide them.
Yeah. He's the vanguard.
Yeah. And he's not there yet, and he will be. I think there's so much more nitty gritty to happen here, but I want to jump to a post credit stinger.
Wow. Okay.
I just want to, now that we've laid out so much, and I can go back to some of the studio demands here to see if we missed anything. I think here's your stinger. It's Nightwing. Mm-hmm. And this is where I don't want to hint at too many other characters.
Okay.
It's Bruce and Nightwing have their final scene where Bruce can kind of like, hey, I'm sorry, I just came back and took my mantle back.
Sure.
And there's no forgiveness. Blake is like, I devoted my life to this. You took it from me. Give that Dick versus Bruce animosity.
Okay.
Right? They need to not be friends at the end of this. Bruce fails on that regard. The world, he's going to save the world. He's going to be the hero he's always meant to be, but he's terrible at relationships.
Sure.
Even going so far as Alfred saying, like, let him go. He's gone. Like,
okay.
And Nightwing could even be in the capacity of, like, how can a hero like us exist when people are tearing down buildings? He could be the complete skeptic. He could be the one that doesn't trust that there's a place for a Batman level hero when Superman and Wonder Woman exist. Right? I'm just giving him a chip on his shoulder that he just wants to save the city. He just wants to protect Gotham, which is more or less the Batman attitude that works best in the comics. Mm-hmm. Batman in the Justice League is a different Batman than Batman in Gotham.
That's true.
So I'm giving that attitude to Blake. He said he could just be like, I don't care about the world. I care about my city and the people in it, and you've taken that away from me. I gave my life to become Batman, and you've taken Batman back, so I'm mad at you. So the stinger is the Avengers moment, the Nick Fury showing up, and it's Nightwing meeting Wally West and hinting at the Teen Titans. Or the Titans, I should say. Mm. Instead of hinting at, we're going to get the Justice League.
Yeah, my whole idea spoils your stinger.
And that's fine. We can discuss this. But it's the moment of maybe Wally West doing something fast, and then you think you're the only one with superpowers. Like, hey, there's a place for you in this world, too. Because Nightwing and the Titans, at their best, don't deal with the world threats. They deal with, like, the middle ground threats. So hinting at Blake creating the Titans.
So you're wanting to forego the Justice League?
No.
You don't.
We know we're going to get the Justice League. There's no surprise that we're going to get the Justice League. I think the surprise would be creating the Titans. Because then you could build up to a Civil War level movie where it's the Justice League versus the Teen Titans or the Titans. So that's my stinger.
Is that really a story that happens in DC?
They released an animated movie of it just a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So my stinger is really for the fans because we're gonna get Justice League. There's no damn way about it. We even got like a tableau of it where it's like Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman all standing together. We're gonna get the Justice League. They even fought together. Like it's a foregone conclusion that we're gonna get the Justice League. So hinting at the Titans, I think, is more exciting. Or you hint at what Justice League tried to do, and the Legion of Doom is your stinger. Silence.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So there's my solution for fixing Batman versus Superman. You get Christian Bale back. Henry Cavill's Man of Steel exists. Wonder Woman the movie we got is going to exist. Still creating a movie that allows those three to kick ass together side by side versus Lex, not Doomsday, in a Kryptonian-powered suit, redeeming Superman as a hero in the eyes of the world and inspiring a new generation of heroes to come out of the shadows. That's the back of the box on the DVD. What's a DVD? It's a Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I feel like I've kiboshed more of your ideas than I allowed to.
That's okay.
Than I should be allowed to.
I think the studio had a pretty good idea of what they were looking for. And that's okay.
So basically this whole episode is me just convincing you to make my Justice League, my Batman versus Superman, and you just had to say yes or no the whole time.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
No, and that's okay because the Batman versus Superman part I feel is really unimportant. Why do they need to fight? Why do we need to see them fight? Because they're such great heroes. Yeah, so why are they fighting? They should be fighting bad guys. They are smart enough to recognize that they're not bad guys.
Well, here, I'm going to do this.
You pitched a pretty good way to have them misunderstand and fight each other. So that works.
Well, I'm going to do this now. Now that I've babbled at you for an hour and basically forced my idea down your throat, I want you to pick apart what I gave you, and now you can, if you want to go back to the Thangarians attacking Earth, pick this apart and like let me let you pitch me a movie.
No,
we don't have to go for another hour. I'm just curious.
Well, I pitched mine really broad strokes in the beginning, and then you gave more parameters, and then met your parameters.
I'm sorry. I was really excited about this idea.
Do not be sorry.
I've been thinking about this
it's great.
For years,
I know.
Jim.
I know you have.
About it for years.
I know. You've been.
Why did
you've
they
been
do
telling.
It? Zack Snyder's such a terrible director. Why is this happening?
Okay. So I want to flip this around. Let me flip this around a little.
Give me some water.
Yeah. It's okay. It'll be okay.
Okay now.
Are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gay. I'm gay? What? Oh. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn this around a little based on the pitch you gave me. So I'm imagining your movie, and those story beats do feel better than the story beats that we kind of got with the original.
Trigger me again.
However, I'm still seeing your movie shot, and it looks a whole like it's actually.
Yeah.
There's not much reason that it's not going to look a lot different in
stylistically.
Yeah,
visually,
like just dialogue will just make more sense.
Yeah,
it's
that's all I can ask for, Jim.
And we won't dislike the characters because of their choices.
Good.
But there's still the what would you do about tone? Would you keep that tone?
I lean into the Nolan tone, right? Because what we got with Zack Snyder's tone is a bastardization of Nolan's tone.
Sure.
Dark and gritty, no jokes. No, there's plenty of jokes and levity in the Dark Knight trilogy. Like you can still have a fun time while being serious.
Sure. Okay.
And honestly, you know who's gonna make that happen? Your Lex Luthor is gonna be where the levity comes in this. Because if he is, and it's funny too, because the episode after this, I talk about a human villain against more or less an unstoppable force. We recorded episodes out of order.
Yeah. I did not realize
that. Yeah, that if you think like if Lex is the badass Lex he should be, he's the one that's going to be able to crack wise and create the humor at the level that Nolan gave us through his 3 original movies.
Okay.
So I would hope that through the more interesting and understandable dialogue that makes more sense, you're allowed to have a little bit more of a tongue-in-cheek attitude about certain things. Lois should be way funnier. Lois as a character is so much better than, hey, let's quit swinging our dicks around. Where do I tinkle? Lois Lane should never say, where do I tinkle? Are you kidding me? I was so furious in Man of Steel when that moment happened. I'm like, let's quit swinging our dicks around. That's a line that tough Lois Lane should say.
Sure.
Where do I tinkle is not something Lois Lane should say.
But the juxtaposition, TC.
Snyder, go here. Okay.
You get that hairball out?
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So you're talking about the tone and the stylist, and that's what you're worried about, the tone and the style.
Yeah. So I feel you sort of answered it. So it's still going to be somewhat muted and not grim.
Mm-hmm.
What am I trying to ask? Maybe I should just pitch an idea.
Do it.
Do you think it'd be possible to? Yeah, actually, I think Wonder Woman showed that it could be done, and this would kind of be co-opting from there, undermining it when it's shown in there. So maybe it's not. Anyway, what if the tone is different per character? So for Batman, we have the Nolan-esque mood, and everything has more muted colors and is the gray tones. And then for Superman, now it might not jive with Man of Steel, because Man of Steel set the color palette and everything for that there, which was similar.
Mm-hmm. I got it.
But essentially, I'm thinking of kind of matching the scenes to the characters, right? So Batman is the grays and blacks and
you're giving a
dark
visual
colors.
challenge here.
Yeah.
You're creating a cinematographer's challenge.
Superman is the red and the blue and the bright sky and stuff like that. Challenges Wonder Woman's
gold.
More of the gold. Okay, yeah.
And to mesh those together, I want you to. Did you watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Some.
Okay, there's an episode called Dawn. It's the season finale. I can't remember which one it is.
I did not see that.
Through the course of the episode, Buffy is attempting to save Dawn's life the whole time. Her sister Dawn. And so for those of you who I'm going to spoil Buffy the Vampire Slayer here, so I apologize if this is like ruins anyone's life, but Buffy knows Dawn is going to die, so she spends the whole episode, the season finale, trying to stop her death from happening. And the whole episode is done with this blue filter, very Matrix-esque, very blue through the whole thing. And the whole episode leads up to the final fight just before sunrise, when Buffy realizes the only way to save Dawn is to sacrifice herself. The sun rises and the color shifts to the color of a sunrise. So by having Batman essentially be blues and grays and Superman to be red and blue as well, like like a navy, and Wonder Woman to be this hopeful yellowish and orange, right? When they all come together against Lex, who's in green and purple, that's where the color, like the whole movie visually comes to life when the three of them.
That's where we get the Skittles.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. That's a really good solution for the tone. Like, how do you fix the tone that exists in BVS by mashing the tone of the Dark Knight trilogy, Man of Steel, and what Wonder Woman would be?
Yeah,
that's a great idea, and that's a great cinematographer, like a visual challenge.
And ideally, I think that sets it apart from what we did get,
and it sets it apart from the Marvel universe.
Because
the Marvel universe have a pretty consistent look throughout, unless the exception would be the Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Space,
Thor 3, like the cosmic stuff. but we're in 2013 yet. We haven't even seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So that solution's really smart. Visually, that would set it way apart from what the Avengers did. I think we've already tonally, by kind of rooting it in a real world fears, the fears of the other that BVS was attempting to do, but Snyder's a Randian. Like he's a nihilist. He's a pessimist. I think Nolan presented a post 9/11 a superhero universe mashed with Man of Steel's fear of the other that could totally be extrapolated tonally and visually in this Batman and Superman. I'm giving you the credit for that. That's really good. I'm liking what you've pitched here.
Thank you. You are explaining it well. And then the only other thing is we just don't edit it like they did.
Well, I think just by the simple fact that it makes sense as a story.
Yeah.
That it will be better just from page to screen. It'll already be better.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. We can kind of start wrapping this up unless you have some additional thoughts here.
No, I don't think so. I think we I think what's there is satisfactory to me. I think based on what we said, this isn't an A plus for me. There's still questions.
Right.
There's still
disagreements. The studios are arguing.
Honestly, I'm pretty close to being on board. I think I would get most of what I'm looking for.
I'll let you direct it.
Then I'm definitely getting what I asked for.
Yeah, I knew that would convince you.
So yeah, I think this is a solid effort. It's definitely a good foundation to build on. It may not be the explosive, and maybe that's the problem, because this is meant to compete with the juggernaut that had just come out. I think it gets closer at the very least than what our reality has.
Yeah, what we actually got. Yeah. And here's what I want to wrap up with here. It is more important to me than it probably should be, but I think it's important to pop culture that Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman are represented the best they possibly can be represented as. And I think what Snyder did with his movies, with BVS and Man of Steel, is he harmed the image of these mythological characters. Superman and Batman have existed in every form you can possibly they've been around for 80 years. Mm-hmm. So we've had murderous Batmans, and we've had way too cartoony and goofy Supermans. Mm-hmm. But the reason Spider-Man worked when it came out is because it came out just after 9/11, and it was the hero the world needed, an underdog who can be a hero, right? Like the Raimi Spider-Man came out.
He's of the people and for the people.
Yeah, it was, and it
right?
was.
He's a normal guy who's doing what needs to be done, not for any reward.
He is a great hero that we needed that when he came out. And in 2013, in the era that existed then and still exists now that we've gotten Batman versus Superman and we've moved on, they are trying to fix the mistakes they've made with these movies, is that Superman is supposed to be this beacon of hope. They literally said it in Man of Steel that the S on his chest stands for hope.
Means hope.
What in Man of Steel was hopeful? Nothing. And Superman needs to represent that hope. He needs to be the beacon, the light to show us the way. The best version of Superman is he is a savior figure. Funny, another Christ figure conversation.
Yep.
And to create, Superman's boring. He can do anything. I want to see him punch stuff, right? You can get that. Like,
I want to highlight for a second that statement. Superman's boring. He can defeat anything. I want to see him punch stuff.
That's the attitude, though. Tell me
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But the thing is, the man who can defeat anything, the thing you want to see him do is punch a thing.
Yeah, I want to see
That's
him
all.
fight a guy.
That's what he does, and that's what you're saying you're bored with.
No, he can do it. It's so Superman's boring. Like I assure you, during the Red Scare, if you said Superman was boring, someone would call you a communist and kick you out of the country. There used to be an era where Superman was America, and I'm not trying to be like flag waving Michael Bay here. I'm trying to just say like Superman should represent. He is the greatest hero. He should be presented as the greatest hero. And if he's boring, that's the fault of the writer. That's the fault of the director. And that's the fault of the actor. Superman can and has been interesting.
Yeah.
The best Superman we have right now is Supergirl on CW. That show represents her as the optimistic beacon of hope she should be, even in the dark times that show goes through.
Sure.
Captain America, Chris Evans, he is our Superman. I mean, not saying like literally Superman, but there's no finer hero that represents the hero he is than Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yep.
Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She is as well cast
She's
as Wonder
taken
Woman
on the mantle
as Chris Reeve was.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, and people can hate on the Christian Bale Batman, but I feel like given the chance to be standing in a Justice League scenario, Christian Bale would further solidify himself as an even all the more iconic Batman. You can complain about the voice all you want, but no one embodied Bruce Wayne better than what Nolan did with Christian Bale's Batman. In my opinion, that's an argument for another day. We'll do it. We'll do an episode on Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
Okay. I didn't have much problem with that movie. I'll remake it though.
You can tweet at Jim. So, so to me, it's important that Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman are presented way better than they got.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So
they're, like you said, they're 80 years old. They're more than just characters that some comic company has to make money on. Actually, at the most realistically cynical, that is all they are.
Literally, they exist for you.
But they could be, and I think should be more than that. They're icons of American culture, and they that go back multiple generations at this point. There's there's a history to them, a canon to them where, and yes, people have done many different things, but when you represent them on the big screen, they only get so many representations on the big screen, and so you can't do all the shades.
No,
and the shades you shouldn't do are the ones that are polar opposite of that iconic image.
So, something that I 100% agree that iconic image is crucial to maintain. Something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done, and even had done up to the point of Avengers, is the archetypal nature of Iron Man, Cap, Thor. Like they were archetypes of a hero that then got to team up together to do the right thing.
Yeah.
In BVS DOJ, the one we got, there is no difference between Batman and Superman. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
One's got powers. One's got gadgets.
They don't serve any archetypal purpose. They don't live up to the mythology of the characters, other than at the very base level. Superman shoot lasers, strong fly. Batman smart gadget throw. Like that is what we got.
Yeah.
But there's so much complexity to these characters that could be explored through the archetypes of what they represent. For Batman to be the brain, to be the investigator, to try to solve through logic. For Superman to be powerful, and especially the Man of Steel Superman that would exist in this scenario, to be afraid of what he is and what he is to the people and trying to fight against it. And for Lex to hone in on that fear and that paranoia and enhance that in Superman, you're creating very distinct archetypal heroes that have something to overcome and represent something in their story.
Sure.
They're on a quest. Batman is, especially Nolan's Batman, went through this constant arc, and through the arc of his whole story of what does Batman represent? So what does Batman represent in the bigger picture of the DC universe? Superman doesn't represent anything but fear because of Man of Steel. He's not hope. So we need to turn him into a character that literally finds hope in himself so that he can be hope for the world. Batman doesn't necessarily need to change. Superman's the one that needs to change, which from a writing perspective, just strictly thinking as a screenwriter, what an amazing challenge to make Batman your protagonist on the journey, but he doesn't change, and Superman your antagonist to the hero that is on the arc. Like, I think there's a lot of there's so much to explore within those characters, even in a 2.5-hour movie.
Sure. Well, yeah, right. Well, yeah, because you just said it. I don't need to repeat what you just said.
Well, okay, so I guess I'll leave it at that. Any final thoughts on Batman and Superman? I don't know if we
No, just lots of silence.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Which makes for great podcasting.
Oh yeah.
I don't think this is funny because every episode we've done previous to this, we've like walked away like that's it.
Yeah,
that's the one. And maybe because we're challenging ourselves more with something like this, or maybe I just came with too many ideas.
No.
Which defeats the purpose of the show. I should have came in with a clean slate.
No, it's gonna happen, right? I have one in the
chamber.
In the chamber that I got some very strong ideas about. I don't know if it's necessarily as refined as your Batman vs Superman is, but I have some very strong ideas about some future episodes.
I look forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to hearing from our fans and our listeners. We have been having a growing audience, and we're thankful for that. People started tweeting us ideas. Next episode, we're actually doing one of our listeners' requests, which is very
fantastic.
Exciting. You can find us on Instagram at Studio Demands It. I know that's where one of our requests came from. And you can also hit me up at TC's Big Head. We have a website for the show, studiodemandsit.com. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on Google Play, or you can just play it right off the website. And I would be remiss to forget. I forgot to do this in one of the other episodes. I have to thank 6.5 Media for giving us this show.
Thank you very much.
I forgot to do that in one of the episodes. I do apologize for that. But yeah, that's it. Jim, any final words? What's your Twitter handle? You were just looking it up.
I was trying to look it up because I think I got it wrong a previous time. I think it's Tubok Waxon.
We're never gonna know.
No, we're never. No one's gonna find that.
Who is this guy? You can tweet at me if you want me to talk to Jim for you.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the episode. We'll be back next time with another challenge to improve the world of cinema, or at least improve it to the point that we can agree it's at least sort of better than what we got. And maybe next time we'll agree wholeheartely and walk away having met the studio demands and giving you a movie that leaves all of you listening saying, I want to see that. Why that one didn't make it happen?
Yeah, that actually is what I hear people saying that all the time.
Yeah, just that babbling, very incoherent.
Walking out of theaters. What is this
Superman,
thing?
laser eyes, strong fly.
So many. What if they did? That's always the reaction you want walking out of movies.
And then leads you to make a podcast where you try to fix it hypothetically. All right, thanks, Jim.
Thanks, TC.
Thanks, listeners. That's it. That's the end of the show.
Bye.
Okay, bye.